Hey friends, happy Monday. Thanks for joining this 13 Plus FastCast. I'm Anna Orsini.
And I'm Carson Courier. We hope you all had a great weekend and you're off to a great week so far. We do want to let you know about some news here locally. You're taking a look at our website here. A teen driver is facing charges after a deadly crash involving a pedestrian on Saturday. Police responded to the area south of Mission Road just before 4 a.m. They determined that the driver of a white Honda was driving south on Mission when they hit a median, crossed over onto the other side of the road, and hit a pedestrian. According to police, the driver left the scene but was found at a nearby residence where they were charged with one count of leaving the scene of a serious injury collision. During the investigation, police learned the condition of the pedestrian had worsened. They later died at the hospital. Detectives say they will now dismiss the original charges against the driver and will coordinate with the Pima County Attorney's Office to determine the appropriate charges moving forward. The name of the victim has not been released. And following some national news this morning, General Motors and the United Auto Workers Union have reached a tentative agreement. The specifics aren't known at this time, but the agreement is said to be similar to the deals already announced by Ford and Stellantis. The tentative deal comes about 6 weeks into the strike and just days after the union expanded the strike at the nation's largest automaker. Nearly 50,000 UAW members were involved in the strike at one point or another. It cost GM an estimated $200 million in the last 2 weeks of September and an estimated $600 million in the first 3 weeks of October.
And following some other national news today, people across Maine returning to work and school this morning after the manhunt for Robert Card finally came to an end. That 40-year-old suspect was found dead on Friday from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Now this morning, we're learning that police in Maine were possibly warned about him weeks before that shooting. According to reports, the Maine National Guard asked local police to do a welfare check on Card last month. That came after a soldier said that they were concerned that Card would, quote, snap and commit a mass shooting. Officers said that they tried to make contact with him at his home. They were unsuccessful at the time. It's also being reported that because they couldn't make contact with him, a missing persons report was created, but that the case was closed on October 1st. That's 24 days before he committed that mass shooting. Investigators believe Card purchased the gun he had used during the attack back in July, right before he spent 14 days in a psychiatric hospital.
And overseas this morning, the United Nations Security Council is holding an emergency meeting. According to reports, the UAE will seek a resolution that calls for a, quote, immediate humanitarian pause in the war between Israel and Hamas. Over the weekend, Israel announced it's moving into the second stage of its war against Hamas. More than 7,900 people have already died in Gaza. And according to the United Nations, civil order is shrinking in Gaza. U.S. officials say there's a chance this war could expand to the Middle East. Iran's president has already said Israel's actions against Hamas may, quote, force everyone to take action.
And another big story we're following today here at home. The president is expected to sign an executive order on artificial intelligence. That order will require developers to share the results of their safety tests with the federal government before those are released to the public. It will also establish standards to prevent the production of dangerous biological materials, and it directs the Commerce Department to develop guidance for watermarking AI-generated content to prevent fraud. The White House says the president actually spent months consulting with world leaders, tech executives, and experts ahead of this executive order, and of course coming at a time where there's a lot of questions about AI and a lot of potential threats that come from using artificial intelligence. Of course, another big story that we're continuing to follow today here at home, the death of Matthew Perry over the weekend. I know I was tailgating when I saw that story.
I know, I
and
did too.
It's just one of those things that's kind of like, you know, Prince, just other celebrities that you're like, it almost feels
surreal.
It feels like it just like can't be, like there must be some mistake.
Yeah, Friends obviously just iconic, still plays on the TV every single day, but Matthew Perry didn't really want to be remembered as his role as Chandler Bing in Friends. He wanted to be remembered for something else.
In fact, in his own words, he said, quote, "I've said this for a long time. When I die, I don't want Friends to be the first thing that's mentioned." Instead, he wanted to be remembered for his work helping others. He had been very open about his battle with addiction, and it led to him going to rehab several times. He has since worked to support others with substance abuse issues. One of those ways included actually turning his former Malibu beach home into a men's sober living facility that he called the Perry House.
He was also a big advocate for drug courts in which nonviolent substance abusers who commit offenses receive help rather than be incarcerated. Perry actually testified before Congress in 2013 to ensure $41 million for drug courts and another $4 million for veterans treatment courts. Perry was found dead on Saturday at his house in Los Angeles. Police suspect he died from drowning, but an official cause of death will be determined by his autopsy. And this morning, the coroner said they'll need more information, including the results from the toxicology report, to make that determination.
And here at home, we want to take a look at your 7-day forecast, kind of what we're expecting, because if you had to be up early this morning, maybe
it was
one of
so
those,
chilly.
It was cold. Now, I have to be up probably before most normal people get up, but I walked outside, took my dog out. He turned and looked at me like, nope, and I was
Mom,
like,
what happened?
Yeah, how bad do you have to pee? Because it was cold out there. Good news is, though, those temperatures today, not feeling cold, 74. I mean, that's kind of like your perfect day. Seeing breezy.
Yesterday it was really nice, too.
It was a good weekend. As soon as that sun goes down, though, definitely you can feel the weather just change. Yeah, so looking at this week, starting to warm back up this weekend, of course, U of A homecoming on Saturday. Going to be a little bit warmer out there. Grab that sunscreen, stay hydrated. But other than that, I mean, not seeing any 90s, no 100s. So I feel like as far as this time of the year goes, that's the most you can ask for.
Absolutely. A very nice week. Going to be a little chilly tomorrow night for Halloween. So make sure the kids maybe have a jacket or a second layer, but not awful.
Not horrible.
Could be worse.
Could absolutely be worse, but not seeing any chances for rain or precipitation on that forecast. So we don't love that necessarily, but like you said, could be way worse. Could be still seeing those triple digits, so we will take it. It will also be a good day weather-wise to get out and watch a baseball game, whether you're staying here, going back to Phoenix. I mean, perfect baseball viewing weather.
Right? Oh my gosh, I bet so many people, I mean, me included, wish I could actually be going to the game
Phoenix,
tonight in Phoenix. I cannot, but, you know,
we
shoot, a lot of people are, you know, a lot of people are heading up to the game in Phoenix, and it is Game 3 of the World Series. And if you do go, make sure you go hungry. Take a look at this. Chase Field is rolling out a brand new menu just in time for the World Series. It includes things like Cajun shrimp fries and tenderloin steak nachos. Some specialty drinks will be available too, like the Cactus Cooler and the Moneyball Mango Margarita. I don't know about you, Anna, but every time I go to watch a Diamondbacks game, one, the food is so good, but it is so expensive. Margaritas there are like $20, but still.
Any sporting event, but like I can't stay away from it.
You know what I mean? It's all a part of the experience.
Right.
First pitch is tonight, right after 5. Right now the series is tied 1-1.
Well, go Diamondbacks. I mean, I know as far as the food goes, as soon as I went to the U of A game the other night, it was like, okay, hot dog, kettle corn, cotton candy, lemonade, and I got it all.
So good.
Yeah, you need it. It's part of the game. So you have our permission, me and Carson's permission, to go ahead and get all that food.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, while we don't here at home have a professional baseball team like the Diamondbacks, we do have, of course, the U of A, great baseball program, and also the Tucson Saguaros, but a lot of emphasis being put on baseball right now.
Exactly. Kind of the goal here is that the excitement around the World Series will also help some younger people here at home kind of to get involved in Little League. I know our very own Jack Cooper, he actually spoke to one Little League team and officials about why it's so important. He said he even played back in the day.
Yeah. So Jack Cooper, thankfully he didn't put on his uniform or anything for his live shot, but he did. And yeah, I mean, you think about it, and like just kids playing baseball, it's so cute. Like kids at the ballpark, but not a lot of excitement around it.
Exactly.
So hopefully we see the future World Series players here at home, you know, kind of growing up in Tucson.
Yeah, that would be great. Jack Cooper has the story.
Leaders tell me that there's been a lack of interest in not just Little League, but youth sports as a whole. That's because there hasn't been as much participation going all the way back to before 2010, and this was all greatly accelerated during the pandemic. Now, during that time, kids could not play organized sports, so they tried out individual ones like biking and running, or they found other hobbies like video games. I'm also told that during that year of no contact, parents saw what it was like to not have to spend hours driving their kids to games and practices. They just ended up making that a habit. Another part is how expensive this can all be, hundreds of thousands of dollars between registration fees and the equipment. But I'm told that it's things like this World Series that can really drive an interest in your kids and also parents.
Very important. I think that it's totally, especially starting like at a young age, it gives these kids kind of like to see that there's opportunity, you know, and that anybody can do it and anything is possible.
Now, I actually used to play Little League here about 15 years ago, and I can tell you firsthand, this used to be the place to be. The parking lot used to be packed on game nights or opening ceremonies, so much so that we actually would have to park at the library down the street and walk over here with all of our equipment and chairs just to watch some games, but it hasn't been like that the last couple of years. Leaders tell me that that's something they're hoping to change pretty soon, though. Reporting at the Field of Dreams, Jack Cooper. Back to you.
And taking a live look outside today, look at those conditions. I mean, perfect. Yeah, crystal clear skies, seeing a lot of blue out there, not too hot. That's the way we like it. A good way to start our week.
Absolutely. Get out there and enjoy it because it is unfortunately heating up just a little bit over the next couple of days. Not even looking, maybe a little breezy, but not too bad in this shot. So get out there, enjoy it, be active. Take advantage. I mean, after how many months?
I know, we deserve it. But even looking at this weekend, like I think we had a similar forecast on Saturday for the U of A Oregon State game. No, and as soon as that sun went down, I was like, I'm freezing.
Chilly.
I need a jacket. I got the goosebumps. So I mean, looking at that, all things considered, great weather for homecoming weekend.
Well, thank you all so much for watching this 13 Plus FastCast. Tune in at 2:30 for more news and weather.